Hannah here. I was minding my own business on this Nextdoor app when this free furniture tab kind of popped open, if you wouldn't believe that. I saw these classic banker chairs that were just solid wood and I couldn't help it. So within 30 minutes, I was just picking them up. It was in my neighborhood, so that was pretty good. I just talked to the person for a little bit and then I just went out and grabbed them. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them, but I know I needed some extra seating for an event I'm going to have in August. So I said, why not grab some extra chairs and refinish them, make them look nice, keep them, sell them, whatever. One thing I do know about old wood chairs is that a lot of times you get excited because you got these solid wood and then you start sanding them down and you just kind of get deeper and deeper. You just see a lot of flaws, a lot of issues with the chairs. And that's not always a bad thing, but sometimes you do want the chairs to have a nice newer look. And so you sand and you sand and you sand and then hope that you can get past a lot of the scratches and dents and just try to do the best you can, making it look as smooth as possible. I don't always show myself sanding a lot, but it is a lot of work. And hopefully, if this is not the first or second time you've seen my video, you can subscribe to my channel. That way you can see when I actually post my videos. It's usually once a week. I try not to put too much pressure on myself to knock out a project. I want to make sure I have something to post and that my project is finished to the best of my ability. And then I try to make sure the post goes up. I was sanding with 80 grit, and there's always places where the sander can't go, and so you have to hand sand. So I'm hand sanding with 80 grit. And of course, this was right before I realized that I had two different chairs. It took me a while to figure that out, sad to say. And this is when I usually come in and clean off the chair. If it's solid wood, I usually jump into sanding if it doesn't look like it has cobwebs and things like that on it. And then I start to kind of wipe it down of all the sanding and clean it down so I could make sure it's clean, so that I'm going to paint part of it and I'm going to stain part of it. So I just have to, at this point, I decided to make sure it's clean the best I can. I did get a lot more off than I'm actually going to show, because who wants to see all this? But I knew that I was going to stain this. I know I couldn't sand it that well, and I didn't want to deal with sanding in between there. And I also thought it needed some kind of look to it, and I didn't want it all stained, so I said those would be the ones that I paint. But then I also got nervous about the seating because I didn't feel like the seating was that great. So instead of leaving the seat all stained, I decided to paint some of it and do my thing where I block stuff off. If you've seen me, a lot of my videos, I block a lot of if you see my videos, I block some of the pieces and then I stain some and paint some. So I was doing my little test. What I do is what I think it would look like when it's stained. So I just a wet cloth, a little damp cloth. So I realized I was doing the right thing by painting some. So I have this tack spray to kind of keep the tape, in the right position so it won't move. And so I decided to take a little brush and just mark the sections that I'm painting and the sections that I'm staining, because I was a little confused. Like, okay, what was I doing again? Because I'm going to make the chairs the opposites. Since they already are different, I decided not to try to make them look alike because they're already different. And so for a second, I just had to figure out what I was doing with each chair, You just basically take a really small flat brush and just gently go through the base or go around the edge. If the brush is small enough, it'll be fine. I did make some errors, and you can see there's a piece of paint on the arm of the chair. You can see, but I didn't let that bother me or deter me. I mean, can easily sand off whatever mistakes that are made. So when you do your projects, to be patient and not to be fearful, because it's wood. Whatever you do to it, you can just sand it back down if it doesn't turn out how you hope it would be. Or if you have little errors and mistakes, you can always just take it on a hand sander after everything's dry and fix it. So hopefully you like the video so far and you're going to subscribe to my channel. I do have a lot of pieces that are at least inspirational for you. You can benefit by watching it and possibly, getting a piece of your own and doing it. Or if you just like watching, I'm good with that too. I forgot to tell you what kind of paint I was using. I was using the Sherwin-Williams exterior paint. I seem to love the Caviar Black. I was using the interior paint, but I did get a gallon of the exterior paint because I wanted to paint my exterior door. But this paint is very strong, and of course it adheres to wood and other materials, and it's made to handle the weather outside. And so these chairs, if I decide to keep them, will be used outside. So just want to let you know that this is not some paint that is gonna peel. And I made the base, the bottom of them, black. And yeah, I see that I have some work to do, but I kind of knew I had work to do when I put the tape across. I overlapped with another piece of tape. So that's how that go. But I did know I had some cleaning up to do, so I was all right with that. I've used rustic beige and English chestnut, mixed them together to stain the chairs. I didn't want the stain to be too dark, because it seems like either it's not effective whatsoever or it's too dark. But because of the chair's imperfections, I still needed to make sure the stain had some depth to it. And also I feel like to balance out the black, having the stain too light would look too drastic on the chairs for me. For this last step, I took the chairs outside so that I could put the top coat on there, which has a little stain on it. But I must say it's like a deck stain and sealer, and the stain is not dark enough to mess it up. It's pretty light, honey. So I wanted it to have both exterior paint and exterior sealer so that they could fare well outside in the elements. Let's take a look at the beforehand so you can remember what the chairs used to look like. And this is the after. I think they're really cute chairs, but let me know what you think of it.